We're back on Born Before 64 with Dr. Norman Raymond, Ed Grimblatt, and Neil Evans from Apteka Naturel. And, you know, we had talked about this wonderful product that you have that I have to tell you, I have to share this with you. I was one of the early women that had to go at 35. I went into menopause at 35. I could not take hormone replacement, which made it very difficult for me as a young woman because I had lost everything within a year. They tried to save my ovaries, but it didn't happen, okay? So I still have some of the effects of, after being tested, of menopause. So I started on hormone replacement, but I was still having some feelings and some other things. And when I found this, I thought, wow, this is great because it's actually taking away some of the other symptoms that I have by taking it once a day and not having to have a lot of other things that you had to put into it pharmaceutical-wise. So it made me feel great as a woman. It's probably making a lot of other women very happy as well. Now tell me something, this was a big decision on your part, right, Neil, to come out with this at this time?
Oh, absolutely. As I mentioned, we're very focused on the products that we put in our portfolio. We don't have thousands of products. We're not like a big box store. So we're looking for solutions to problems. And obviously, menopause is a pretty serious problem for many, many women. I'm sure you'd agree, Doctor. And this particular product that Ed found really for the manufacturing attacks menopause in 3 ways. And I think it's very, very interesting. He mentioned the symptoms of reduction, relief of the symptoms of menopause, but at the same time, it's addressing things like osteoporosis with the vitamin D3, calcium, and it also addresses breast health. And I don't think we want to get into the technical reasons for it, but it's a great, great, great product. To date, we've been only marketing on the web, on our website. We might go into some boutique retail, and we have numbers of prominent doctors that might be looking at this as
like
something to provide their patients.
Right.
So that's how we're taking it out.
That's great, and that's, I think, important, you know, because really this is an educational program for Born Before 64s as well. And, you know, there's premenopause too. When does that usually happen? Tell me about that.
That premenopause, I mean, a person may go through that at 35 and then into full-blown menopause if it's not surgical. But when we talk about menopause, we talk about age 54 is the average. Okay. So before that, in the early 40s, that's perimenopausal, warming up.
Perimenopausal.
Yeah, right, and missing maybe a menstrual period here and skipping 2, and then, you know, and then coming back with 1, and then it gradually goes into full-blown menopause. You mentioned osteoporosis. There are thousands and thousands of women that suffer from osteopenia, the thinning of the bones, and then true holes in the bones, the osteoporosis, and it's called the silent disease, because all of a sudden there you are and you have a hip fracture and you go, why did she fracture her hip? Well, she's had this silent disease. The vitamin D3, that's brilliant on your part. Vitamin D3 turns on over 2,000 genes. It turns on directly over 200 genes. So to put that in the mix is really a service to women. Not just for bone, but for immune systems, for other hormonal systems. It just acts as a cofactor in so many other reactions in the body. So it was brilliant, wonderful.
And it's really amazing, you guys, because I have to tell you, when I was over in Turkey, I kept on fracturing different bones. And an orthopedic surgeon said to me, I think we need to do a scan. And he said, you know, what's amazing is, he found it immediately, and he started giving me stuff to help me so that when I came back to the States at age 50-something, I didn't have to take that stuff any longer. But with what you're giving me, that's keeping me in good bone health, which is really important.
Very good.
You know, I know that men go through it too.
Right.
And I want you to address that, but I know you are developing something in the future, am I right?
Right. We don't talk too much about what's coming out. That's marketing,
That's
trade,
right.
but we'll leave it at that for
We'll
the
leave it
moment.
at that. But tell me what men go through, because I think we have men that watch this program too. So
We do,
address, it's not called menopause, it's
No,
called...
it's called andropause.
Andropause.
And you know, it's taken a while for even physicians to admit that andropause is a real
Even
thing.
exist.
But everyone knows it exists now. And even now that we can measure different levels like testosterone and estrogen, as men go through andropause and we begin to lose hair, that's
Okay,
exactly what
yeah, you
happens.
showed your head, right?
But also, you know, all of a sudden we start putting on a little bit of weight in the midsection, that sort of thing.
All right.
If you actually measure in the blood, you can actually measure how estrogen starts going up, testosterone starts going down,
Right.
and sometimes men will get a little bit of breast tissue up here because the estrogen's going up. Those two are related, by the way. Testosterone will go to estrogen and back and forth. But the bottom line here is that men will go through a hormonal change for men.
How old?
Oh, I mean, actually, it starts at age 25. You begin to lose 1 to 3% of your testosterone per year. So they say
Wow.
1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. And so you may, by age 50, you may lose up to 50% of your testosterone. And that's extremely important relative to blood sugars, relative to so many other reactions, and even thinking. That's why when guys go through andropause, sometimes they're not interested in the ball games anymore, and they just don't want to go out to eat, and it's because of this change, massive change that happens in men, just as in women.
Well, let me ask this question, because a lot of people will go, oh, he's going through andropause because he's looking at things that he had never looked at before. Is that the change in the hormonal level?
Well, it is. But I'll tell you what, you mentioned right at the beginning of this program, the thing is, even though we're going through that, we're putting the brakes on. And integrative medicine is saying, wait a second, let's take a look at the levels. Let's see if somehow, especially naturally, we can potentiate those levels and bring them back at least approaching normal so that you can get out and golf and play tennis and be healthier and not have diabetes, or maybe it won't manifest itself as early. So many, many things that used to go wrong just automatically, and we just said, oh yeah, that's the menopause, and now we say, oh, that's just andropause. We can stop it, take a look at it, and maybe readjust with some good management.
Right. Well, there's some other conditions that I want to talk to you
Yes.
and Ed and Neil about. And you know, it's weird because there is a new situation for women that has never been out there before, and that's heart health and cardio. And you have something to address that. You know, it's amazing that and I have to share this with you. A few years ago, when I was a smoker, a long time ago, I was sitting at a restaurant, and we'll talk about this, I'll do it in 1 minute, and I started having palpitations. I thought I was having a heart attack. I rushed over to the doctor. He sent me right to the hospital, and I found out some things, and some of those things, I wish this product would have been around at that particular time for when I was going through it, but it made me quit smoking. So on that note, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about cardio health with all three gentlemen, doctor and the other two gentlemen.
Very good.
We'll be right back on Born Before 64.